Hey guys, this is Samuel to Geek. Today I'm going to talk about a pretty serious topic. In case you didn't know, Anthony Bourdain decided to take his own life. And suicide is something that I've had to deal with throughout the course of my life. My uncle, when I was in first grade, decided that after battling drug addiction for quite a long time and depression, that he would take his own life, and he did so, and did something that has stuck with me my whole life. It's one of the reasons why I abstained from using drugs and alcohol throughout my entire life. And it's I know how hard it is for families to deal with suicide, and I know how angry you can also get. For a long time, I took the position that, the anger position that, people are selfish that commit suicide. And, it's hard. It's hard to understand where they come from. And even if you've dealt with depression before, why you would take your own life. And we have to remember that even people who we think are happy or have everything in the world, probably some of them do not think highly of themselves. And some people don't understand what it means to be happy or what it means to have a good opinion of yourself. We often mask it with acting and overreacting and trying to hide how we truly feel about things and play things off. Anyone who's regularly watched Anthony Bourdain knows that he was a big fan of self-deprecating humor. He often joked about prior drug use and alcoholism. And instead of seeing those as red flags, we often, joked along. And, sometimes we just have to let people know that we do truly care about them. When you get wrapped up in having a lot of attention on yourself, you often forget things that are important. You often feel more alone. And, you get phone calls, and it's always about business or drama, and you never truly feel like you have a real human connection. And people who've been in the spotlight before kind of know this. Even though I was never in a particularly big spotlight, but like when I had internet drama going on and, being in politics, and there are times where you just feel completely alone, even though you're around other people. And I can only imagine for a celebrity as large and as big and as well known as Anthony Bourdain, how, all these eyeballs on you, yet you feel alone. And, he was dealing with a lot of this stuff with his girlfriend and the Me Too movement. I can just only imagine the amount of anger and vitriol going towards his way every day. And it's a very difficult thing to deal with. I wrote on Facebook, and I think it best summarizes my thoughts. I put, Anthony Bourdain's suicide reminds us sometimes we need to recognize that self-deprecating humor is sometimes a cry for help. Anthony was open about his alcoholism, drug use, and depression. It's sad, but sometimes the man everyone wants to be doesn't want to be himself. Rest in peace. And I believe that sentiment is completely true. Some people look at Anthony Bourdain. In fact, one of my old friends from college put, must be so depressing to travel the world and connect with different cultures in the form of food. I don't know if he was being sarcastic, probably, but I wish people like him would understand that, often people mask how sad they are with, drug use, alcoholism, and being the life of the party. I know several of the people that I went to high school or middle school with. A lot of the people who committed suicide, it wasn't the troubled kid, the bullied kid. It was often like a pretty popular kid, and it's hard. It's really hard to understand what pushes people to these limits. And I think people overestimate how much happiness, money, wealth, experiences, how much that brings. Sometimes we really just want to look for human connections, family. A form of happiness that is very difficult to find, and you can only find when you're close with people you truly love. And it sucks that, as someone who has had family members commit suicide, it was kind of crappy of me to think it was selfish of them and stuff like that. I mean, it's hard when it happens to you. You want an answer why, and sometimes you just end up blaming the person. But as time has gone on, as I've gotten older, I've realized that a lot of it stems from the fact that we don't treat each other well anymore. That we idealize nihilism and cynicism and just pure, the weird sense of joy of tearing something down. And it's bad. And we shouldn't idolize these things. It's part of the reason why I really stopped doing the Samuel Tagee character the way I had for a lot of years, when I started to wake up to this notion that cynicism isn't good. And yes, I do think that we should be skeptical of power. We should be skeptical of a lot of the systems in our lives that make things difficult for some people. But, we should also learn to appreciate the good things and focus on what makes the world a better place. And focus on gratitude and maintenance of this society that has made us, we're so lucky to live in a world where the internet exists, where we all have food, where we're not starving, where we're not thirsty. Many of us who are watching this video, we're so lucky. We have no idea how great it is. But we should also realize that just because things are great doesn't mean everybody's happy. And sometimes it's the simplest things in life. And that's why sometimes it's just the simple things. That's why sometimes you'll see that even the people in the most distraught, terrible situations are often happier than incredibly rich men. So keep in mind all of those things. Stay close to your family. And please, please let people know that you care about them before it's too late. Charles Krauthammer, conservative columnist, brilliant man, someone I've read every Friday since I became aware of his column, since when I watched Fox News. He also is probably going to die soon. And Senator McCain, another idol of mine, former boss, he's going to probably die soon. Just because they both are suffering horrifically from cancer. And I've tried my best to let Senator McCain know that I care a lot about him. His staff certainly knows. And, if I had any connections to Krauthammer, I would try to let him know as well. But let people know that you care about them. Because we still have such a small amount of time on this planet. And we should use it wisely. Thank you. And Thanks to everyone on YouTube. I am really grateful for a lot of what you guys have done for me. Samuel out.